Hey, it's another edition of Something to Talk About.
Good morning.
Hey, you're still Vaughn.
You're still Stuart.
I hope so. Welcome. You're indoors today. You decided not to sit out by the pool. It's too cold.
You know, I have been here now the past, couple shows just because I think my lawn people switched their schedule around and they've been coming right as our show is starting. And so I've got blowers and weed eaters and lawn mowers and all that going. So I decided to bring the party inside.
That happened to me earlier today before the other show. And all my landscaper came, and all of a sudden, just about the time the show was going on, that's the time he was trimming along the house right outside the window.
Yeah.
So I'm getting ready to say, welcome to, someone you should.
Exactly.
It's the nature of the beast. Well,
yes, besides the fact that I have allergies that are, bothering me. So it's best to be inside right now.
Now, you had mentioned off camera that you're getting ready to leave to go visit your place up in the mountains in North Carolina. How do your allergies affect you when you're there?
I'm okay. I mean, they're okay. I think right here, right now, it's the ragweed, and so maybe they just don't have the ragweed like we do.
They have different kind of pollen.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot cooler there. I want to say it's like high in the 60s and at nighttime down in the 30s already. So, so I think that cooler temperatures, they've had a lot of rain. That might help. Like if we were to have a little bit more rain here, wash some of the elements away. I think, I hope anyway, that it won't be as bad there as it is here. I don't have major allergies. I just get the sniffly nose, the itchy eye.
And I told you, I get the same thing. I've never really had problems with allergies, but it seems that when I walk the dog, especially in the morning, when I get back, because I'm walking around our complex and there are so many different kinds of trees and bushes and everything that I can't put my finger on which one it is that when I get home, the eyes start to water a little bit and the nose starts to run, and you got to figure out what it is.
Right. And you hate sneezing out in public these days.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get the stink eye from somebody.
Not only, but when you sneeze, there's somebody that's 3 blocks away that turns around and walks the other way.
Oh, I know. I told you. I told you a long time ago when we were really in the throes of the whole kind of like staying away from each other. And even if you're walking on the street, we would all go maybe 10 feet around each other. And so even back then we were walking on a walking path. I think I told you, and somebody in front of us had a sneezing attack, like literally could not, like just one after the other. People were literally getting off of the walking path and going different directions to get away from this man. And it was probably most likely just allergies. He's out on a walking path in the middle of trees and everything. So, but I think we're all, a little bit wary of sneezes and coughs right now.
Yeah.
And rightfully so.
I am, this is my season. I love this season, this kind of weather. When it starts to get a little bit cooler, when the trees start to change colors and all that's always been my favorite season. How about you? What is it?
I'm a fall girl. Anybody could tell you, anybody who knows me well, I got my pumpkins already all in the backyard and front. And I've already baked, let's see, pumpkin, spice, pumpkin, this, that. So I'm a fall girl. I wish that our fall here was a little bit more true to fall in terms of like the colors. Like we were just talking to Mark, and he's got all the reds and the yellows and the oranges coming out.
Yeah, he's up in Michigan.
In Michigan and in North Carolina, where we're headed, it will be like that as well. So I do wish that we had a little more color here, but still the weather turns crispy. And I do. I always have this initial kind of like the changing of the seasons, just a couple weeks in the changing of the season. But once it is fall, and we're in the midst of fall, then it's absolutely, I think it's beautiful here in the fall. I do. I love everything that comes with fall. Just, the family and the football and, the weather and yeah, I'm a fall girl for sure.
I don't know about your neighborhood yet, but already my neighbors around starting to put out the Halloween decorations.
Oh yeah,
in front of the houses, and boy, they have they gotten sophisticated over the years. We have a neighbor on the next block that, I mean, this is a big deal for him. The entire front of the house, both on the ground as well as second story, he decorates everything, even with sound and lights. And at night you go by and some of them are motion activated. So if you walk past his house in the evening, all of a sudden some lights will go on and some smoke will go, and you'll hear the cackling of witches, and it's really a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's neat. So he goes all out for Halloween, not Christmas.
Actually, probably more so for Halloween than for Christmas.
Yeah.
But they've got these light things that I don't even know what they're called, but they have they will do a virtual movie or something on the front of your house. It's what they do on like skyscrapers, where they'll put red, white, and blue flags and everything that are projected up on the buildings. And a lot of the people here are doing that. Some there was on the other block already, went by yesterday evening, and there was a cat that was screeching from the tree. And I'm looking up in the tree because I thought there was a cat that got caught in the tree, and I was going to call 911 and all, but it was a sound machine or something that was creating the sounds.
That's cool.
And of course the dog goes crazy.
Yeah.
The dog cannot figure out what's going on. Why are you taking me down this path, Dad? I'm afraid.
Yeah. Duke used to not like, because some of our houses here go all out for Halloween as well. And some of them have those big blow up things that, you can hear the air kind of continuously going in to keep it inflated. And they're kind of moving and blowing. And Duke would get really startled at those as well. And they would freak him out. But yeah, we have some houses here that go all out. I don't really know what to expect this year, considering, I don't know, California, I think, already canceled Halloween. I don't know how you cancel Halloween, but apparently they did. And so, I suspect that there'll be people here who will be a little bit more cautious and careful, whether you're with young kids and getting out onto the streets to go door to door, or if you're at home in your own house and you don't feel like having a lot of people come by, they'll probably turn their lights off and just to be, careful. And so I don't know what to expect. I mean, but certainly people can still decorate. I mean, there's no harm in that. Get your house looking all fun, and maybe then that would be good for the kids. And maybe parents can drive the kids around to look at the decorations and whatnot. Kind of do a little drive, little outing.
I kind of look at it this way. I think it's safe to say that nearly everybody in America is going to be wearing a mask by Halloween.
Well, don't we anyway?
Exactly. That's my point. So, as far as the kids are all going to be wearing masks anyway. So it just may be, instead of wearing a mask to cover, they'll just have one that's,
right,
like this.
Yep.
And trust me, I don't think that there's a kid alive that, if he's wearing a mask over his mouth, is still not going to be able to say, trick or treat.
Yeah. I don't know how they're going to trick. I mean, I know some people are still going to go out and whatever, and maybe people at the door will toss their candy, and when you get home, spray it with Lysol. I don't know. I don't have little ones this year to go out trick or treating, so I haven't given that much thought. But I will be decorating the house, because I think that at least that shows, that you're in the kind of holiday, or it's not really holiday, but whatever, spirit.
Yeah.
And, that you're trying to make it fun and as normal as possible for those little ones that might get out and about. I might just have kids that I know come by, or I don't know. I haven't gotten that far in terms, but I do enjoy driving around and seeing that people are out decorating their houses. Because like I said, if parents are nervous about getting their kids out to go door to door, get in the car and drive around and look at some of the decorations. That might be fun.
Another option I think is, and some of my neighbors do it, is they set up a little table on their driveway by the sidewalk. And that way,
Right.
when the kids come by, they can just pick up their candy instead of having to come up to the door and open and closing the door all of the time. That
Yeah.
might be a safety measure. Just go out and sit outside, as at least if the weather is nice. Just sit out there, and when the kids come by, just drop some candy in their bag, and they're on their way.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, you could put them, I'm sure people will figure it out, but so we'll see. But yeah, hard to believe that you and I have, well, let's see, since March, we're still having kind of these conversations, but.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've gotten aced out of having 4th of July celebrations, Memorial Day celebrations. We've had Flag Day. We've had all kinds of other occasions where people have you just had to do it differently.
Yeah.
And now we're approaching Halloween already. We don't know what's going to be in store come Thanksgiving. I mean, how many people normally who travel all over the country and fly all over the country to be with family for Thanksgiving is, how much that's going to be restricted.
I think a lot of that will just be personal choice.
Yeah.
Because airlines are flying and people are flying. If you're comfortable enough to fly, and if your family is comfortable enough to have you come in or you go there, or whatever the case may be, I think that that's just a personality thing and a personal choice. And so I mean, my guess would be that it's not going to be the travel that it is under normal circumstances. I think that's pretty obvious. But yeah, we'll have to see.
We certainly have learned how to be adaptable, because when all this started back in February and March, we didn't know what to expect. Everybody was not in a panic mode, but it was so uncertain what was going on. But we also thought, well, okay, the virus is going to come and the virus is going to go. And now we're, almost 8 months into this, and they're still frantically working on the vaccine. And I got into a discussion with someone else the other day, and how long is the recovery going to be once we have the vaccine? How many people are going to run right out and get it, and other people are going to be a little apprehensive? And then once we have the vaccine and things start opening up again, are people going to start to flock into all of the restaurants and theaters and concert venues? Are they still going to be apprehensive? How long is it going to take for us to get back to that comfort level?
Yeah, I don't think there's a definitive answer there. I think that, again, it goes back to once rules and guidelines are, and restrictions and all of that are lifted or modified, I think it's just going to be a personal choice. And just a lot of it depends on, there are some people who even amidst this, the past 8 months have been treating their lifestyle as they always had. And so then there are some people who have really locked themselves up and really kind of taken themselves out of society and the risk of it all, the possible risk of it all. And my in-laws are those people that they lean more toward that. They have been really, really sheltering themselves since March. And I will tell you, though, that you can start to see physical changes in a person who has really, really sheltered for that amount of time. And I don't think it's healthy. And so I would like to see, obviously, again, it's a personality thing, whatever you're comfortable with. There are people who wear masks, people who don't. I have a friend whose husband's a doctor. She doesn't believe in wearing them. Again, I don't know the answer. I'm not going to claim that I do. I wear the mask just because I feel like it, whatever, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. And if it makes people around me feel more comfortable, I don't care. But
Well, yeah, I think some people wear a mask to protect themselves, and other people wear a mask to be respectful of others. And you're right, and the choices that it's given us, and we've discussed this over the last couple of months. Lauren and I have ventured out a couple of times and finally said we just got to go out and get a meal someplace. If we go in and the restaurant is well taken care of and the staff is masked and the tables are far enough apart, we're fine. But if we go in and we find out that they're just not, taking some of those additional precautions, we either leave or we say, okay, we're not going to come back until this is all over.
Right.
The upside to what we were talking about early is now with the fall coming in and these little cooler temperatures, a lot of the restaurants that have outdoor dining, it's very, very pleasant to be outdoors and dine outdoors.
Yeah.
So I think people will start to take a little more advantage of that too.
Right. Yeah.
But you're right. We've been talking to friends that said, so when are we going to get together? We talk about, well, maybe we'll just bring folding chairs and get some coffee and donuts and sit out on the driveway. And okay, well, call us. And there's some friends we haven't seen in 4 or 5 months just because we just don't feel comfortable enough about it yet.
Yeah. And that's fair. Again, it's, because nobody really has all the answers here. And I know, we actually went to get tested the other day just because we call it a courtesy test because we don't feel like, we're pretty careful and
right.
we don't feel
you're getting ready to travel too.
Well, not only that, but we're going to see my elderly parents who are in their 80s. My father has diabetes. And so we just feel like it's the right thing to do. And
right.
we did, but we were in there talking to the doctor and, he does a lot of, he looks at the numbers almost every day. He goes from clinic to clinic, from downtown Dallas to up here. And, he's even said, I think people are beginning to feel more comfortable because we can treat this better than we know what we're doing now. We're not, and we do have, and he started to name some medications and some treatments and things that are working, even in the elderly high-risk patients. He's like, so there is a greater level of comfort in terms of just kind of getting out there a little bit, however you choose to ease your way back into society. He's like, we're beginning to see a little more of that just because we have a greater handle, a better handle on treating this. And so not curing or whatever, but just at least it's not like it was in the very early, days and weeks and months of the outbreak. So that I think comfort level too will trigger some more movement in society is my guess. I'm not a medical professional. I just play one on TV, but
and occasionally on the radio.
This is just my layman's kind of prediction of how I see people easing back in, and some might wait much longer until some might wait much longer. My concern, like I said, and I think of my in-laws in particular, just the mental and physical atrophy that I have observed just over the past, because literally since March, and that concerns me too. While the virus concerns me greatly, so does that. And so I think that's something that needs to be given some thought. And those people, we actually encouraged my mother-in-law to go get her hair done. And she looked into it, and she actually, just to make herself get up, feel better. And they are doing it very, very, but at least our hair salon, I don't know if Lauren's been, but you go in, you are 6 feet, if not more. They spray down your area before you sit down. Your hairstylist is wearing a full shield mat, and you wear your mask the whole time. And You go, yeah, and so I just, again, to your point, you need to make sure that the places you choose to go to are handling it, dealing with this responsibly. And if you see that they are and you're comfortable being there, then I think that that's an okay, safe way to take the first couple steps out there, you know? Or like I said, or like you said, try to, if you're going to get out and want to just kind of see other people, stay outdoors. The outdoor seating, for example,
Yeah.
is a comforting, safe, like, you know. But anyway, so
well, the reverse is true too. That if you are uncomfortable, then just put that place on the shelf for now. And when things are better, you know, I have mentioned before. A big applause to some of the big box stores like Lowe's and Home Depot and Costco and all. They're not allowing people in the front door unless they're wearing a mask, and it's a good precaution for the shoppers as well as for the staff that are in the stores. And in the beginning, yeah, it was a little difficult and it looks strange and all, but it's become commonplace now. So I don't mind. I mean, I'm really thrilled when I get back to the car and can take the mask off, because I find it to be a little uncomfortable, and mostly because I wear glasses and, you know, it keeps fogging up my glasses while you're wearing the mask. But it's as they say, a necessary evil. But I applaud a lot of the stores that have set up, you know, 6-foot distancing at the checkout lanes, and even some that will only restrict, like my barbershop only allows 2 people in at a time. So they won't seat anyone until there's one person on one side, one person on the other. That's their distancing. That makes it good.
Phil just went to the doctor today for just a quick physical, and only one person no one's sitting in the waiting room. You sit in your car.
Yep.
And then when you're getting ready to be called back to your room, then they'll call you on your cell phone, and you get to go into the building and go directly back. So they're not having anybody just sit in the waiting room. And yeah, I mean, I think we're becoming way more fluent. Businesses, restaurants, the large boxers, whoever, they're becoming more fluent in kind of how they're managing the store and the procedures once you enter the store and whatnot. And people, I think, are also becoming just used to it. And so I think we're all becoming a little bit more, we're just kind of going with it now. I mean, I don't even really think about put my mask on my wrist just because I oftentimes I'm running in and out of places. I do my errands really quickly and I keep it on my wrist. I think it's funny though, because the other day I was running in somewhere and I had left it in the car, and I was in the parking lot and I went, oh gosh, you know, like that kind of, oh God. And I turn around and go back to my car. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people in parking lots do that. And you know exactly what, you know, you see somebody walking into the store and they go, oh, like that. And they turn, you know, they forgot their mask. Yeah. But also just a little thing here, like I forgot my mask one time and I was going to maybe Michael's, I don't even know. And I called him and I said, oh my gosh, I just pulled up into your parking lot and I forgot my mask. And it was a Bed Bath & Beyond. And she said, oh, come on in and just go to the door, wave to me and all. And they had a box of like almost like Kleenex. So where you just touch one and take it. And so they want you to come into their store, you know, so they're going to have the mask. So, you know, if you don't have your mask, most of these stores will provide them, you know, for you. But anyway, this isn't a show about masks, but we made it one.
But by the way, do you have a friend that with the handle Taco Maniac 444?
I do not.
Somebody was watching in and they just typed in and said, I have a question. So if Taco Maniac, you're still with us and you want to ask your question, go ahead and type it in, and we'll try and answer your question.
Yeah, no, I don't see Taco Maniac. But I'm curious to know what the question is.
See, it just popped up on the screen. Taco Maniac. Hi. So
where? Oh, there it is. Let's see. Okay, so what's the question?
I have a question. All right, Taco Maniac, go ahead, ask your question, and we will try and field it.
All right. Shall we press on, Mighty Warrior? Shall we?
Sure.
I think we've exhausted the whole mask thing. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. It's good, it's right, it's wrong. Who knows? I don't know. I choose to wear one. So,
well, I mean, we all just got the news that our president and first lady just tested positive for COVID-19. So, nobody's immune to this.
well, no, not at all. And listen, Stuart, I'll be honest with you. I was wondering when President Trump was going to, because honestly, think about this. This is one of the most contagious. This is what I've read and what we've been told. One of the most contagious viruses of all time.
Right.
And you have President Trump, who's running our country and has obligations that put him in large groups of people, even maybe small groups of people, like meetings and whatnot. He is amongst people all the time, every day. He can't isolate like you and I. He can't shelter like my in-laws. He can't quarantine to keep himself at risk. So I'm not shocked at all that he and his that they got the virus. I'm not at all, because this is one of the most contagious viruses of all time. I'm kind of one. Yeah, I mean, it just, to me, does it shock you that?
Yeah,
no,
I'm not surprised, because the one point you make about being in large crowds where people are not social distanced, but then to turn around and to be on an aircraft where you are confined. I mean, it was one of his staff people, Hall is her last name, forgot her first name. She was the one that was first diagnosed, and she is virtually shoulder to shoulder with the president on a daily basis. Well, being in a confined area and flying with germs that'll pass around in an airplane. That's why so many people are still so fearful of flying. Mm-hmm. It's a risk. We're taking risks, and we have to choose whether we want to take that risk or we don't want to put ourselves in a vulnerable position. And I wish them the best of luck. I don't want anybody to get ill from this disease, but it's just that what happens when someone is ill, it puts their entire life on hold. It puts their entire family's life on hold, because now you have to sequester yourself for a minimum of 14 days. And it throws wrenches into everything. That's why every time that we sometimes say, you want to go out and get dinner? Yeah, we'd like to, but maybe we'll wait another week.
Well, President Trump didn't have the luxury of not putting himself at risk. He's flying, he's going here, he's going there, he's got responsibilities to the country. So, and again, to your point, I wouldn't wish this virus on anyone. It's not a political thing. I think I do wish them a full recovery. It's a scary thing. And as far as quarantining, I'm sure he'll be able to do that for 14 days.
And then I forgot what the term is about all of the people that he has come in contact with over the last couple of weeks. Now all of them have got to be looking at themselves saying, "Wait, I better go get tested because we were at a dinner with them, or I was at his rally, or whatever." And it's like a ripple effect. It's like a pebble in a brook.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, but think, and I hear it's like they can choose to either wait to see if they develop symptoms and lay low for maybe 4 or 5 days. I think they said average you start showing signs 4 to 7 days in after being in contact.
Right.
Again, what I say, I'm not a doctor. These are just things that I've either read or heard in conversation. I have a few friends who are doctors, so I tend to kind of like lean in a little bit more to hear what they have to say. But I think I heard 5 to 7 days. They could either lay low for 5 to 7 days, see if they start developing any symptoms, or go immediately get tested. The problem there is you could test yourself too soon. I mean, it's really. I mean, think about the riots we had here in Dallas. We saw images of hundreds of people without masks on. Think about the people they came into contact with and then spread it. It's the life is happening around us. I mean, it just is. And unless the country mandated some very, very, very scary, almost martial law rule where we were all locked in our houses, which would be very scary to think of that happening. Unless they did something like that, it's almost like life is happening. And I actually talked to a nurse who said she kind of said it under her breath, because you have to be careful what you say these days. She's like, I kind of believe in the whole herd effect or whatever. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Is that maybe a way that you can just kind of start this?
Well, and I also think that the president and first lady test positive, so now they are in quarantine in the White House, and you wonder the staff that they have in that White House on a regular basis. This is like the nerve center of the entire country, and everybody that's on staff now needs to get tested to find out how widespread this is, or maybe it is fairly narrow and can be controlled. But this is what the word pandemic is all about, is that you just don't know how far it's going to spread. And if you find that there are other people are susceptible, now how is that going to affect all the other people that work within the White House and within the political system? It's and we've got to, I mean, I am just such a proponent of listening to the medical community. They are working as quickly as they can on a serum for this, but you can't just throw something in a bottle and say, here, try it, because there has to be a program, a progression for this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I wish them a full recovery, like I said, and I don't even know what their symptoms are. I didn't hear. Did you? I didn't hear what their symptoms were. I didn't hear how severe their case is.
It's interesting that there are multiple symptoms, and you can have any one or more of them.
Phil just read very mild symptoms.
Very mild symptoms. Okay.
Very mild.
But but Nikki Haley, you got to find out what her symptoms are also, because she was the one that really started the ball rolling, and they believe that that's where the connection was.
Yeah. Well, if she was on the plane and didn't even know she had it, she might be asymptomatic.
Yep.
Which apparently there are a lot of asymptomatic people walking around. And
it all depends on the person's immune system. Obviously, the older you are, like our president, the more susceptible and the more relaxed your immune system is, and puts you at greater risk. If you're young and healthy and all, you have a stronger immune system, you may be able to fight off, one or two or most of the symptoms that are associated with this disease. And I think was kind of unfair to kind of say, well, children pretty much are immune to this disease because they have a much stronger immune system and all. Yet when you see the reports that are coming out of some of the schools that did open then turned around and closed, because there was an increase in the number of cases. Now, was it the children that got the disease? Was it the children, the staff of the schools? Was it the people that the children were interacting with outside of the school environment? There's so many ifs that are related to how someone gets the disease. But if one child gets it in the classroom, then the increased risk goes up.
Yeah, we have our schools open here in Frisco ISD, and we had a case I don't have any children in the public school system here anymore. My kids are in college, but where, by the way, they get tested periodically, just randomly.
Right.
But anyway, here there was I think 5th grade class, doesn't really matter what grade, but somebody tested positive, could have been the teacher, could have been a student, I'm not sure. But what they did then is that class, instead of closing the whole school, that class that had been self-contained, because it's a self-contained school, they all had to go and then go home, stay home for 14 days and do online learning once a case broke out in their class.
Uh-huh.
That's how they do it here. They don't close the whole school. They'll just take who they believe had been in close contact, I guess, with that.
Yeah, my grandson's been home from school, and I think that they are going to start back in person learning. I'm not sure if it's this coming week or the following week that they've targeted that the kids will go back into the classroom.
Uh-huh.
Hopefully it works, because it'll be a benefit for both the parents and for the students.
Yeah.
But if something develops, it could be reversed very, very quickly.
Right. Yeah. Yes. If something is yes. And I'm looking here, and I don't know this person, but is it Stephen? I'm not sure. That
Yeah.
his wife are negative. So that's,
I know Steve Mackler and all who just texted in that Biden and his wife were tested, and they are negative.
that's good news. That's good news.
That's good news. Yeah. And hopefully it'll just keep getting better news, because I know that everybody's getting really tired of this being stifled.
Well, our country is so divided in so many ways, and now even this virus is dividing us because people are looking at the virus even differently. They're looking at how to differently and how to respond to the virus. Do you get out? Do you not get out? Do you wear a mask in your car? Do you not? I had a friend who was taking a walk the other day, and by the way, she's the wife of a doctor, and they were both walking on a walking path without masks because they were outside. This happened actually a while back, but this woman walked past them wearing a mask outdoors and called them both idiots. That's all she said was, "You idiots," and just kept walking. This man's a doctor. He, by the way, an ears, nose, and throat doctor. So I think, he obviously felt
I
comfortable.
want to know what's going on. Yeah.
It doesn't even, again, it's not, he was outdoors. He felt comfortable walking outdoors, with that. And, but I guess my point is I could give you a lot of examples of where people are just nasty to each other. And, this is just another issue, that has divided our country. You've got the police situation, you've got the virus, you've got politics, you've got, for goodness sakes, sports. I mean, whatever. It's kind of like, if you're not on my team, whatever it is, if you don't agree with me on masks, I don't even want to talk to you anymore. If you don't agree with me on politics, I don't want to talk to you. There's no right or wrong. I mean, people have their opinions, but there's so much that has divided this country. It's sad. It's just sad. I mean,
the example that you bring up is a good case. If the doctor and his wife want to walk without a mask, and the other woman is outdoors, and the other woman is walking with the mask, that's okay. And if the woman with the mask wants to be uncomfortable, step off the path and go around and add a little bit of distance. The part that bothers me most is for her to be so disrespectful for somebody else, and what they're to say, "You're stupid." That to me is just so playground mentality, and we just see it over and over and over again. People just can't keep their mouths shut. You got an opinion, that's fine, but to call other people names and to be that disrespectful of your neighbors, in the same neighborhood they're walking, that to me is just uncalled for. You feel uncomfortable about it. I don't have a problem, because actually we were in a restaurant and the cashier had a mask, but she had the mask underneath her chin. And Lauren very respectfully said, "I appreciate that you have a mask, but it's not doing, you or the people in the restaurant any good. You probably should be wearing the mask up over your nose." Well, the girl gave her kind of a dirty look, but instead could have walked up there and said, "Hey, fool, put that mask over your mouth." We've become such an insensitive, population now.
Judgmental, insensitive, or sensitive.
Yeah, you feel bad about something, then just yell something at somebody. Whether it's it's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, and and now we're kind of pushing the end of this show, and we're just getting to some meaty stuff here, because I have a lot to say about that. I mean, I have small sports teams that I cheer for, root for, whatever. I have opinions. I have convictions on many things. I mean, there's a long list of things that we all, from politics on down to, I don't know what kind of facial product I think is the best. I don't know, whatever. But again, we've gotten to a point where it's like, if you don't have my opinion, if you don't share my thoughts and views, you're wrong. And I'm either never going to talk to you again, or when I talk to you, I'm going to spit venom at you. And that's across the board. And I just have seen it just getting worse and worse. And especially with social media, with the internet, with television, radio, whatever. It's just, we have so many public outlets where we can put our thoughts and our opinions out there, and people can see them and read them, and some people can filter through and move on and not be bothered. Others are going to get into a heated debate with you, and it might end nicely, but in most cases it does not, and you start to see all this stuff. And I don't know, I just think, and I don't want to believe that most people are like that. I really don't. I've said this to you before. I believe that what is represented on social media, television, the news, late night TV, whatever, I believe that represents a small percentage. I do, a small percentage of the total population in our country. I believe the total population of our country are good people. I do.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of communities have this Nextdoor app where people you can sell stuff on Nextdoor. You can ask questions. Very often, somebody will say, "I'm looking for a painter. Anybody have somebody that does good interior painting?" And then people reply, "Oh, I've used this guy. Give him a call." But that has almost been transformed into people that are using that Nextdoor application to vent their frustrations and call people names, and it's just so uncalled for that it's shameful in my mind. I got really incensed over this last debate that we had, because having been somebody that has grown up through discussion and debate and talking, I know what discussion is all about. I know what debate is all about. I know what that hour and a half should have been about. It should have given the people that were watching an opportunity to see what the two candidates stood for on the issues. But in reality, it ended up just being a word fest, spewing at each other. And I feel so badly for Mike Wallace, not Mike Wallace, what's his name? The moderator.
Yeah, Chris.
It's his son.
But Chris, right?
Yeah, Chris Wallace. I felt so badly for him, because it was like he was trying to keep control as the moderator, which he should. That's his job. But it got out of control. And it ended up, most people responded that they just felt like it ended up being a wasted, lost hour and a half, because there was nothing really positive that came out of what should have been an interaction between two people trying to give their opinions on the programs that they believed in, especially to those still undecided voters out there. That's what debate is all about. That's why you have presidential debates. That's why you have debates on all levels, is to to
It was pretty bad. It was a circus. It was pretty bad. I mean, the interruptions.
circus is an understatement. Yeah.
It is. And, they need to learn from it and better prepare the next time and they need to maybe redefine kind of the expectations and rules of the debate. And, from the interruptions to telling people telling the other one to shut up and you're a clown. I mean, it was absolutely, Phil was watching it and I was in the other room. He was laughing, like literally laughing. And I said, what in the world? It was almost like he was watching a comedy show. He was laughing so hard. You couldn't even really focus on really what they were saying. It was the behavior that you couldn't get past.
Well, that was the problem, is that you were not watching a political debate. You were watching a reality show.
Yeah, you were.
And that was the shame of it, is that's not what it is supposed to be. And we better clean up our act, because there's still people that want to know what this country is going to be in the next 4 years. Who is going to lead us? What is right? What is wrong? And how are you going to change it? That's what I want to know as a voter.
I bet the next debate, they'll come out next debate with some good substance and that people can sink their teeth into. I think we all need to just, neither one got anywhere on that one. I think they didn't sway anybody's opinions one way or the other. I don't believe, because people were just laughing. But I think hopefully they'll learn from that. And then in the next debate, there'll be some words and, things that are shared that people can really like listen to and understand. And,
right, because the name calling serves no purpose whatsoever.
Name calling was awful. It was really bad. It was,
it just entertains. It just is entertainment for some people.
Yeah. And like, honestly, you don't do yourself any favors when you do start name calling. I remember years ago, we had a local election here, and some things started to get a little dirty. And I know somebody who literally changed their vote because of the behavior. It was so disgusting what was put out there. So some people really don't respond well to mudslinging. And if it rubs them the wrong way, and if they think the candidates are close in terms of their policies and whatnot, that might be the deal breaker right there. So I don't know. I just think everybody, look, how about this? How about you just mind your manners? And I think that they need to, again, in regards to the debate, they need to definitely have better control over who's talking when. And I don't know how to do that, but I'm sure they can come up with a nice, kind of like lay out the logistics of the debate. Everybody's on the same page. Everybody's doing the same thing, and they each have a turn to.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. Everybody should mind their manners. And for those of you that are watching and listening to this show, Vaughn is a teacher. So you mind your manners and you listen to the teacher, okay? and in the meantime, you go out and have a great vacation and have a good time, sit back and relax and watch the trees change colors. And we'll meet right here again next week, although you're still going to be sitting up in the mountain.
Yeah.
So we will be back with another show, something to talk about, and we may have a guest host in. And in the meantime, be good to each other. Be kind to each other. It's so much better than the alternative. And also go out, make it a good day. And Vaughn, we'll miss you next week, but have a safe trip. And we'll be back right here next week with something to talk about.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Right.